Sorry. Okay. So, hello everybody. Welcome to our Tea Time Thursdays and welcome to our play space in the Fox Tribe where we get to share anything and everything under the sun. So, we honor and acknowledge everybody in this call right now. And we have a very interesting topic today. And it's something that we don't normally have yet in the Fox Tribe. And so, it's really fun. It's really something that is new, but actually not new, but it's new in the space. Okay, so our featured talk for Tea Time Thursday is all about growing your money to create more. So, do you like that? So, before that, we remind everybody to just please. Yeah, if you would like to contribute to this call and class, if you have questions, just type it in the chat box. Feel free to ask questions so that, yeah, so that we could actually have more conversation with the topic. And at the same time, yeah, if you'd like to voice out your, if you'd like to use your voice in asking a question, just raise your hand, using the function below. So yon. And so yeah, today our featured talk for Tea Time Thursday is really all about growing your money to create more and about conscious investment. So our speaker, so si Madam. So our speaker is an experienced investment professional. She is also a Sunya Council Guide and part of the Foxabilities Fox Core, a certified Access Bars practitioner, and creator of Glow Up by Jen Puri. So we invite and introduce to you Miss Jenny Nalla. Welcome to Jenny.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. And welcome to my vlog. Charot.
Yes, welcome. I
I
love
usually doesn't like to be seen.
but now
But now you see me now. Charot.
yes, we love that. We love to see you.
All right. Okay. Today I'm actually supposed to be I wanted to share this like Feb or something, but the energies just keep telling me to rest. And be in allowance to lower down my barriers and all. And so at least nahabol early March,
Yeah.
because March is a new beginning. It's the start of spring and all. And there are events in the market, the financial market right now, that really prompted me to at least start off with this basic um, call, just so because I felt that there's a need to discuss it, the essentials of investment. Thus, I reckoned or created the title as conscious, because um, in the Philippine setting, I think we are all aware that the Filipinos are fond of quick money, quick rich schemes like that, kapa and all, and dami na, and then it just comes in different names, the investment schemes, but it's all the same, pulling money from people, and then claiming that this is like, it will earn 100% and all. Because it's true naman that if you just keep it in the bank, it's 1%. So you could just imagine the difference. Kumbaga, you can earn more, 99%. I have 500, it will earn 100%. So who wouldn't want that, right? We need money every day, as a commodity. We need it to eat or so, as well, or buy things that we need, as well. In this reality, we need money to operate as well, although there are instances that we don't need as well. So this afternoon, I will focus more on how shifting our perspective in terms of investment or growing our money can somehow lead to greater possibilities. And I will also focus more, not really dig deeper into the stock market, but just like a little introduction about it, because the stock market is one thing that's really appealing to most investors. Siguro kasi it's exciting. Me, I took up finance because I saw a picture, a poster in school before, with the stockbrokers. Dati kasi it's not yet online. So they have all these phones in front of them. And it's so busy. And I like that kind of, energy, that, multitasking, ganyan. So it's really appealing and it's really exciting. And for some of you have watched movies about the stock market and all, more exciting yun siya. Like The Wolf of Wall Street, although it showcased the bad side, we can call it bad side, or like the lucrative lifestyle of the investment professionals, the stockbrokers and all. But admit it, you like it, right? Because there's more cars, more parties and all the branded stuff, right? So it's really appealing and it's really exciting. So and sometimes that excitement, the hype, madaling, lalo na ang mga Pinoy, it's a fact already historically, that when there's a hype, Filipinos will jump into it and then will burn their money for that, for the hopes of really getting rich quick. I will earn millions in 1 month lang, and but we all know what happened na with Kappa and the rest of the schemes, right? So just in introducing a different perspective, because for most of us who are in DX and we have been enjoying classes or calls, lalo na sa Fun-Filled Freedom Nights ni Mother Neng, wherein we are taught financial literacy, about business and all. So we have awareness already of what will create more or contribute more to our business and our investments and growing our money as well. Okay, so for this afternoon, mag-share lang muna ako ng screen. So I'm going to share I think this is my aha moments, particularly related to the topic, conscious investing. Kasi this is like one of my aha moments. Sometimes when I meditate or when I read news, financial news, because I reckon na dati kasi I thought, because I've switched to self-employment. I've chosen rather not switch. And these are the things na I realized that knowledge and experience can still be shared, or I can still put into good use the knowledge and experience in finance and in investment, for people who wants my contribution, or who needs my contribution as well. So my aha moment is like putting into the awareness of not just ourselves, but likewise growing our money, so that we can create more or expand the possibilities of money. Because other than buying us or aiding us in buying food, buying clothing, etc., we can use money in, of course, in other forms, or even our sole purpose or our mission. So for me personally, that's what I am working on right now. It's an ongoing, I call it, kay Julia Sotas nga right now, it's a my tidying process in terms of investment and my finances. Because now that I'm choosing differently, my reality likewise drastically changed as well. So I used to work in the finance industry, very lucrative yun siya, I have to say. When I worked in Manila, the sweldo is 6 digits, and when I moved to Singapore pa talaga, so the amount or the conversion of that Singapore dollars to Philippine peso is really quite big. So that's why I had difficulty really before, 50-50, one foot here following my passion, being who I really am, and then the other foot is there, oh my god, the money, who will pay me this much money, like that. So it's really a lucrative business. So but I have chosen. And that's why I'm putting my knowledge and experience to good use right now to aid people as well who chose freedom and choosing themselves as well and creating. Okay, so just an overview for this afternoon. So I'll have a quick background why I had an aha moment that I had to do this as well, especially recent news that you see online, and then just a quick definition of what an investment is, and then a shift to what is conscious investing, which is a new perspective, lalo na for the Fox tribe, because we have been taught financial literacy and all, consciousness and awareness, and applying that in all aspects of our lives, hindi lang like yung in our relationships as well. So what are also the elements of conscious investing, Char? Para talaga naghimo ko parang lecture, what are the elements? For me, parang what are the factors affecting, kumbaga, how we consciously invest or choose an investment. And then towards the end, there's an application. I'll just walk you through of um, my train of thought as of the moment, how I do or select an investment, specifically, like I said, a share of stock, for example. So how I do that and how do I apply now that we are into consciousness, and every day there's awareness of what's going on around us as well. So I'll just walk you through how I do it and share to you how conscious investing is as well. Okay, so just a little bit of a background. So um, I think early this year, there have been a lot of news about Robinhood. I think the key players in this news is Robinhood, which is a trading app. So online app siya that will allow, this is in the US market, by the way. So they allow people to trade online, and then using the app or your at the comfort of your home, or using your phone, so you can buy sell stocks, and they claim that they don't have commissions for that, so very cheap siya compared if you go through a bank or a registered broker, for example, who will do the buying and selling for you, because as of the moment it would range between, depending on your transaction and depending kung sino ang broker mo, it would be 1 to 3%. So imagine if you are trading 1 million, for example, and then 1% or 3% goes to the investors. So it will cut cost kung online na lang. And then GameStop is the stock or the company that's listed in the New York Stock Exchange. So ito yung stock. And then there's also the player Reddit, which is just like Twitter is a platform, a social media platform. But unlike, for example, Facebook, wherein you can upload your photos, pictures, or connected with your friends, Twitter, wherein you can input a certain, line or quote or whatever your POV is. Reddit naman it's more of a chat group or a forum platform wherein people can discuss all the things that interest them, or interest groups. Like kung gusto mong malaman about medical stuff or mga gamit, what are the recommendations of these people. So you can go to Reddit and discuss, rather see or participate in the discussion, and people will give them the answers or give their POVs about it. So anything under the sun, you can really see in Reddit actually. So that includes investment as well. So that's it. And what happened was, so tumaas ang stock price nitong GameStop, and then a lot of people are investing, and most of the investors are millennials kasi it's online, it's through the phone lang and all. And it has skyrocketed to as much as 300-400% up. So people, given the news, given the discussion, were really encouraged, enticed to buy GameStop and sell it. Later on, I'll discuss how people can earn money from this. And on February, around about Feb 4, of course, the regulator, syempre may mga batas, there are laws that make sure that there's fair practices of the trading, and will also protect the market and investors. So nakita nila it's too much na, it has increased too much, and then it will pose risk na in the market. So at that particular day, they stopped trading. They didn't allow Robinhood anymore. Parang na-stop, you're not able to trade. Parang na-freeze ang app, kumbaga, that you cannot buy or sell stock anymore. Specifically GameStop, and then other stocks related to the scheme. And of course, people were disappointed, investors were disappointed, and for some, hearing nga sa news, there was even, kasi mostly millennials and mostly students, and for some, they really gained a lot from it. I will show you the chart of the price performance of this stock before. So for some people, they really gained a lot from buying and selling the stock. And then ang iba is not informed. That's the problem. Actually, the problem arose is that it's hyped, and then it's forum lang, oy, buy this stock, ganyan, ganyan. And then because it's increasing, you can just sell it. But not all investors. It's easy, it's convenient, madali lang, you just press the button, pindot everywhere, and you can just do the trade. But not all investors are informed about, for one, how the stock market works, and then second, the intrinsic value of GameStop. Is it worth investing in or so? So ang iba natatakot, and then may nag-reflect sa app nila that, hey, you owe us this much kasi nalugi na, nag-stop, hindi naka-trade. So you lost this much and you have to pay us this. So for there's a particular student that saw that, and he misunderstood it, that he owed a lot, almost close to $1 million, 700K US dollars. So, and he didn't know how to handle it. He's not informed. He was not empowered to make financial investment decisions and all. So he committed suicide and all. So ito yung adverse effect ng investment. So there's a hype, there's a good feeling, but then if things don't turn out well, of course, you could just imagine the impact of in the mental health of the people, and of course the finances of the people as well. So, and while these news are like, popping on my news feed in Facebook and the rest of the news outlets, ito naman dito sa Pilipinas, there was a news saying that short selling will be allowed in the Philippines. What do we mean by short selling? It's like it's allowing the masses as well to buy and sell in the Philippines. Actually, fortunately for us, very conservative ang ating mga regulations in the Philippines, because we take cue from the experiences in the US market or international market. So very conservative ang ating regulations and laws here. However, matagal na nilang pinaplano to open investments among the local, not just the big players. We call them the big players, the investment banks or so. So I know a lot of people are really excited about this, and most of us are aware. Early last year, I think a lot of people were into forex trading online. You cannot trade that forex freely in the Philippines, because just like sa stocks, very conservative ang approach ng ating regulators. But I think what you're hearing from your friends perhaps, or what you're seeing in Facebook posts, these are the application or the brokers are actually from the US, because in the US nga, they're so open. The market is mature in a way because it started a long time ago. And so they allowed people or locals, small players, you call it, to invest or trade in forex. So I have friends who have invested or done forex trading using the app as well. They use eToro. So eToro, pwede din siyang actually stocks, and these are it's the assumption that, of course, you're a foreign investor to the US, so they allow that. But in the Philippines, we can't do that. And a lot of people are saying, why don't we do that and open, democratize? The term kasi is democratize, like opening it up to more people, to the masa, kumbaga. So it's encouraging the masa, not just, and later, you go back later, ha? You asked Lolo, you asked Lolo. There's an intermission from my fan, Charot. So so they wanted it to the people are also clamoring that, hey, why not open Philippines to that as well? Actually, they wanted to the Philippine Stock Exchange, which is the market for stocks here, has long time been planning to do it, although of course they're just wary of how to implement it to ensure that this will not cause things like what happened in the US recently as well. Okay, so just to give a recap, so Robinhood is the company that created the app, and then Reddit is the social media app like Twitter na nag-hype ng information about what stocks to buy. Actually, si Elon Musk nga was like playing din with what's happening in the market at that time, because nag-tweet siya, oh, okay, this is what Reddit said, but ganyan. And then people, when he tweeted, of course, this is Elon Musk anyway, a lot of people admire him and follow him, whatever he says, because he's, the one of the richest people in the world. So mas lalong nag-add on sa hype, but I think he was just playing on kasi on the game, and I think he knew what's happening already. So ganun. And then GameStop is the stock. So GameStop is like parang seller lang siya ng mga dati yung mga tapes and all for games. Matagal na ang GameStop in the US actually. But now, so nag-create din siya ng mga games or software. I think GameStop is also the creator of Roblox, which is popular among kids or teenagers right now. And then short selling is like the trading strategy. Ideally, intraday lang siya or within the day. So if you want quick realize or actual P&L during the day, your strategy will be short selling. So I have stock right now, I have to sell it, but pag within the day, nag-increase siya by 10 pesos, for example. So I can sell it so I can earn 10 pesos during the day. So you could just imagine from $3 or something, and then nag-grew up siya to 124, I think right now, USD, or at that time na nag-skyrocket siya, ang GameStop was like that. So around about 400% of increase in the stock price. Okay, so people na hype talaga ang mga people. Okay, when is the right time to sell so that I can earn? So, and then for some, they claim that they were able to pay their student loans because in the US, right, if you want to proceed with college and all, you can avail of loans provided by the government, right? So if you look at the chart, right, so this is just 1 year comparison. So it started off as $3. And then on March 1, the highest, it peaked to 120.40 US dollars. Because dito na nag-start, yung paakyat na siya, parang mountain dyan. Dito na nag-start yung hype in Reddit, in the forum, that, okay, you should buy this stock, GameStop, because a lot of people are into games right now, etc., etc. And you could just imagine if you bought it at for example, at $3, of course. So in this, nag-skyrocket na siya sa 100 level. You could have earned a lot already from holding this stock or buying this stock or owning this stock, right? And then for some people, they held on because they know that parang they are expecting that it could skyrocket to such as $200, and greed. Tapos may mga hype pa, tapos sumali pa si Elon Musk sa kaguluhang ito. And then suddenly the regulators noticed and wanted to protect the general, and then ang dami pang conspiracy actually and all about this, but so you could just imagine if you're greedy and you're still holding on until maging 200, 300 siya. So you could just imagine it went back to around about less than 100. So the the increase or the gains are limitless. It could be, but likewise the losses are also infinite or so. So sobrang baba. That's why I think you could just imagine why for some, lalo na mga estudyante and those, there are even people na nag-loan out pa talaga just to buy the stock. So it's, the mindset or being hyped by information without not much education about the what they're getting into or the investment that they're getting into. So the mindset of mangutang para mag-invest, para mag-buy on, and with the hope. Actually, it's not investment anymore. It's like betting already. You can call it betting because you don't have extra money to play in the market, and you hope that it will increase. And then nangutang ka yun to buy it, and then now it's losing. So how are you going to finance? Or rather, how are you going to pay back that loan? So that's the tricky part there, right? So that's what happened. So people weren't able to trade anymore. So it was stopped. It was regulated by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission in the US, to protect, because all people wanted to sell already because it's already this high, and they were fearful that kung bababa pa yan, edi malulugi na ako. So ayoko, parang ganyan, ayokong isell off, right? So and we can't sell it anymore. So because there are regulations. Of course, kung lahat mag-sell, i-allow ba yan ng regulators, right? It has to be equal. In the stock market, of course, kung merong mag-sell, dapat meron ding mag-buy, right? Kasi if there are outstanding shares here, let's say there are 500 shares available, of course, kailangan at least may 200 na bibili or 300 na magsisell off, something like that. So if you use short selling as well as a strategy, kasi you can do that. You can start a position. So what's your outlook for this stock? Is it going to decrease or not? So if you think that the price is going to decrease, your position would be short. You call it short or sell. So in the long, when the time is right, I'm going to sell this. But technically, you don't have the stock yet. Kumbaga, nagbenta ka ng pandesal pero wala ka pang pandesal on hand. So pupunta ka pa sa panadero to get it and loan it. So of course, so kung gisell off mo siya and there's a willing buyer but you don't have the actual stock yet, you have to go to panadero and get the actual stock or the actual pandesal muna before you can close the transaction. So yun. So that's what happened there. So a lot of people wanted to sell already, but there's no actual stock yet or actual buyer available for that. Okay. So that created a frenzy. Right now, there's an investigation in the Congress and all, even in the Senate as well, inquiry. How did it happen? Did Robinhood, the creator of the app, take into consideration the regulations or the laws so that ma-prevent siya and all? And what can be done to avoid this already? Because a lot of people are nagreklamo na. Ayun. So that's how a hype in the market can create possibilities or losses among investors or among people. Now, I've been in the finance industry, specifically investment banks, for more than 10 years. So I initially started as a financial controller or product controller. My job, I worked in a German bank at the time. My job is basically to give the traders, kasi my investment banks, what they do is that, of course, they want to grow money as well. And they're the big players because they pull funds from the elites as well or other banks so that they will grow. Yun yung role ng investment banks kasi. So they pull money from all the big players so that I can create more. So they can practically dictate how the market moves or so, depende on their strategy. as well. Then go back lang later. Okay, so tell Lola it's the same place. Yes. Ayun. So, I prepare the daily profit and loss statement of our traders, yung mga people registered to buy and sell stocks for us. Of course, they maintain a certain strategy for that, so that they can the bank can earn money out of it. And then when I moved to Singapore, I was exposed more to the risk management side of investment banks, especially working with high net worth clients or investors. When we say high net worth, these are the types yung mga CEOs, tops, or the 1%, the top 1% of rich people in the world as well. The likes who own companies like SMC. Yes, I have seen SMC investing. San Miguel, for example, or Ayala investing in the Swiss banks and asking them to manage it for them or so. And the minimum opening is like $2 million. So you could just imagine how much money that they have. They want a professional to manage it for them. Okay, so compare that to what I see or what I have observed in the Philippine market. So ultra high net worth investors, of course, they want to manage their risk. Of course, who would want, right, a millionaire or a billionaire to become zeronaire? So of course, since I have the money, of course, I also want to grow my money. Like I'm a millionaire, so I want to grow that. I want to become a billionaire maybe next or so, right? So because I want to grow my money, right? But I have to make sure that it's calculated risk in growing it, because of course, as an investor, you should be aware that there are possibilities of losses as well, because we cannot control the performance of the markets, or just like in the pandemic right now, who would have thought na magka-pandemic, right? So all stocks really suffered a big blow at the onset, right? Or even last year. I-compare mo ang performance ng stocks 2020, just 1 year compared to 2019, it's nagbaba yun talaga siya because of the pandemic. There's not much movement because of the lockdown. So in the Philippines, like I said before, it's a quick money mindset. Okay, I have 500. Okay, I will give it to someone who said that they can make it grow to as much as 5,000 pesos, something like that. So quick money mindset among the locals, right? And for the ultra high or the ultra rich, they have the extra money. So of course, I'm a billionaire. I can just use, like, say, I can just allot, say, 100,000 to play in the market right now. Buy cryptocurrencies, whatever. Okay, saka, like just like what Elon Musk did. Nag-play on din siya. He bought GameStop para lang to join the bandwagon and also earn a little or more from it, right? And also there are people, lalo na sa Philippine market, is you loan out pa talaga to invest. So I will utang so that I can buy stocks or I can buy cryptocurrencies. And I have known people who did that as well for that, which defeats the purpose of investment. Kasi ideally, of course, you invest because you want to grow your money, your own money, not a loaned out money or so. Okay. And then number 3, of course, so since ang mga ultra rich, they have the extra money, so they pay for investment services. Okay, isa ako doon sa mga nabayaran before para magtrabaho at mag-overtime para ma-analyze ang performance ng kanilang investment, right? So it's analysis, it's research, even creating new financial products, as long as you ensure that I will gain this much, for instance. So I can pay people to do the analysis for me. But of course, I have to be knowledgeable. I have to approve of it, of whatever you do with my money. Yun yung mindset ng ultra rich. So just like the schemes that we have witnessed in the Philippines, so mahilig mag-pool ng funds. O sige, ganito, mag-invest tayo, 1,000 each, ganyan, ganyan. And then invest tayo Forex. or invest tayo ng stocks, ganito at gawin natin. So it's like betting already without the necessary tools or knowledge available to make, or even the experience. It's not underestimating. I mean, there's one instance in Japan that there's like a rogue trader. He is not a certified stockbroker, but he is really a math genius. He really studied everything, and then that's what he does even 24 hours a day. You just look at the stocks, and then he calculates the probability that this will gain, just like by reading the news and all, and he calculates it. So that's calculated risk, kasi calculated investment. So if you're that math genius and I think you can wait for the right moment to sell it, then why not, right? As long as you're empowered and you know in your skill na calculate mo na yan, you have seen it. And by all means, right, pool funds if you want, or you just can use your own money and try to grow it, right? So I'm not underestimating the capacities of other people. Maybe they put much effort in studying or so, that's fine. As long as it's calculated, and you're aware of the consequences or what could be the possible output, right? So now, given what's happening in the market, and more likely what we are going to see as well in the Philippines, and seeing some of the stocks performing, or the companies. So I was like asking, what if we can create a different financial reality through investments? Of course, me personally, I want to grow my money. And I have seen as well the difference between just putting your money in a bank that will earn 1%. Sometimes nga 100 pesos lang ang growth niya in a year or so. Whereas I can put that, mahirap din magpautang because you cannot, lalo na sa family, friends, because more likely not return back to you, or it may take a long time. And then there's no assurance of return. Or I can put it someplace else, say that would earn 10% or so, but the possibilities kasi in the stock market is unlimited, so it can increase or so. Just waiting for the right moment to do this. So but how can I put into good news all the knowledge, all the information, and what I value well in my life? Like SMC, during the pandemic, it really caught my attention. San Miguel products, San Miguel stock to be specific, kasi they're buying more farmers' produce to sustain farm incomes at the time, because at the onset of the pandemic, diba, we realized na, oy, anong gagawin natin? Maubos na lahat ng canned goods mo. So, ano mangyayari? So, people were back into farming, and San Miguel wanted to support that as well. And then IKEA, which is a Swedish company but listed in Netherlands, also buys forests to protect it, because as a way of giving back to society or to the environment as well. So there are stocks, or there are companies actually that can use money into good deeds, right? Or their purpose or their mission in life. So individually, as like me as an individual investor, how can I apply that, or how can I jump into the world of investments, which is also crazy or insane, but still make use of, like, using it, or putting into good use my knowledge, or my money, that where I can still fulfill my mission, creating awareness. And ako personally, that's why I like it, San Miguel and then IKEA buying forests, because that's one of my advocacies, the environment, taking care of the environment or so, right? And before we proceed with a different perspective, how do we define investment ba talaga? Is it loaning out money to buy or grow more? To grow, loaning out money to grow more money, or have more money, or using my own money, what I have right now, and then making it grow, right? So investment, in a simplistic way, is basically buying an asset or an item in hopes of greater payoff in the future. So pwede rin yung antique, but like I said kanina, we'll focus more on the stock, shares of stock as an investment. So pwede rin yung camera mo, gusto mong i-monetize in the long run because you're into photography, or really your profession is a photographer, 'di ba? So you can do that. In this case, how about the financial markets? So we expect a payoff in the future. Why? Because remember, we're giving our money, we're entrusting our money to professionals, so that it will grow. So, pwede kasi i-keep ko na lang ang money, di ba? At then mag-shopping na lang ako. Or I could just like buy a house or a car, given that. But I'm putting it in an investment because I hope that it will grow. Kasi instead of buying a car na mag-depreciate in the long run, wala naman akong magbaba din naman ang value. So why not invest it in something that will make it grow, right? So find value, and then my inflation pag yun. So every year nag-increase ang prices. So when I want to grow my money, that should cover as well yung increase ng prices, right? So this is a new perspective that I'm proposing, of course. So conscious investing is growing your money to contribute more to your sole purpose or mission. Awareness. I think really a very good example of this is what Gary Douglas, Dr. Dane, and the rest of the CFs in Access invested in El Lugar, or the futures. They call it the Earth Wizards, or the futures, because this is making sure that there's sustainable growth in the environment, and they don't believe, for some people, na maguho na ang earth, dili regenerate ang earth, and then in the long run we'll all go to Mars. So they are not proponents, or they don't agree to that, align and agree to that concept, but they instead, what they did was, okay, protect a certain hectares of forest and let it grow, and then with the hope that it will contribute more to the consciousness of the world as well, and of course ensuring that nobody will burn down this forest, just like what happened to the Amazon, or so. And conscious investing was also the expansion of possibilities with money. That money is not just about buying the things I want or material stuff that I want, but also it can be used to contribute more to the society other than the environment. For example, yung farmers, na what San Miguel did nga, that they wanted to help the farmers na mag-continue pa rin yung ang business nila during the pandemic. And then for example, also, that's why I think you know already what my preferred stock as of the moment is San Miguel, because also how the company takes care of its employees. So Ramon Ang, who has experience, who had COVID, sabi niya, he claimed 3 times during the course of the lockdowns, and lost his son as well to COVID. So he understood basically how important the vaccine is, or helping people contribute to its employees. So I think ang budget nila is around about 7 million na mag-buy ng vaccine for their employees, instead of just waiting for the government. Because you also understand, I think Ramon Ang, the COO, or the president of San Miguel Corporation, understood that this is the pandemic. You can't just demand from the government that you produce this or not, and we're a third world country anyway. So he really understood the situation is, and he also recognized the power and how the company can contribute more to its employees and in general to the world, likewise. And San Miguel is also one of yung participants sa PPE program ng government, or public and private enterprise, yung mag-pull ng funds together to create infrastructure like roads. In the case of San Miguel, they're one of the investors of the airport in Bulacan, right? Because they said that, of course, it's true naman, the one in Metro Manila is already congested, so we want a new airport that would facilitate, that's mas malaki, that would facilitate trade as well. So that's what San Miguel is doing to contribute more, especially to the country, not just to its employees, to its shareholders, but likewise to its country and even the environment as well. Okay. And what are the elements of conscious investing? One, I think you already know that, self-awareness. And then number two is purpose and targets as well. So, or intention, if using a lighter word for it. And then the third one for me is knowledge. So before I used to use the word um, mindful investing. So like, but hearing Gary Douglas said about the difference between mindful and conscious, mindful actually is still, there's still an element of control. So you mind what you're doing, where you're putting your money, or what you're looking into, because you wanted to control the result, right? Whereas consciousness is being open to the awareness and just following where the energy leads you, which is lighter for you and which will contribute more to you. So that's why I think really conscious investing is something that we can promote as well, not just among Filipinos, but people who have, I think we all have a mission naman, but who are really into making sure that we all live our purpose or soul mission here in this human world, like that. So for self-awareness, I think most of us having attended, Fun Feel Freedom Nights. So this involves our money mindset, our belief systems, our priorities, our current financial reality, and of course, most importantly, our relationship with money. So some of the things that we can look into it is, what's my risk appetite? Am I a risk lover or risk averse? Takot ba akong mag lose? Hindi ako willing mag lose ng 100,000. Sorry, because I can use 100,000 for traveling. So I can say that I'm really a risk averse investor. And then what do I know? Do I know much about this before I invest? What are the products available or the companies, and how much am I willing to play in the market or in investing? Do I set what's the maximum or the ceiling for my gains, and then what's the floor, my allowable losses, ganyan. So these are the things that you can ask. And in our financial literacy in the Fun Field Freedom Nights, apat na F pala. So we have already been taught financial literacy, right? So these are the things that we look into. And these items here, 1 to 6, we also hear it from a lot of a financial literacy. They call themselves, they claim ang god na gurus sila. So I'll just call them gurus in a way as well. So of course, assessing what's my reality right now. Of course, I have to look into what's my sources of income or sources of funds, and what are my uses of funds, what are my expenses, like monthly or even yearly, for example. So what are the bills that I'm paying? Do I have debts to pay, mortgage sa bahay or so? Do I have enough savings or 10%? Do I have an emergency fund that pag may mga, yes, emergency nga, suddenly that I have the resources to cater to that, na hindi ako mahirapan, na I don't need to utang or to loan out? Do I have protection for my wealth? Do I have the insurance? Okay, pasok ang ating mga ano dyan, mga friends from Pru Life, Sun Life, Philam Life, lahat ng life. So, am I protected enough in the future? Am I protecting my income or earnings, lalo na for my families or so? And how can I grow my money? So this is the number 6 item already. It's investment. It's growing your money already. So ideally, talaga ang investment is once you have insured all of this, 1 to 5, this is my POV. That's the time that you're ready for investment. But of course, when you are already grounded, already when you are self-aware, and you think you're ready, there's no right and wrong ano naman checklist kumbaga or so. Or if you are well versed in investment, so, and even if you're still building 1 to 5 or building number 4 and 5, so, and if you're ready, so by all means, right, you can do and go investment if you are knowledgeable already. But for me, really, it's the belief systems that we have about money that should be addressed first, before anything else. So that's why this book, money is the problem you are, is really a game changer, for most of us, what's common among us. So if I am to create really a formal course about this, so I would ask people to take this first. So, and I think Shifu has a scheduled ano again, on this one, a call, right, or book reading, whatever, or a class really, about this. So it's one thing that, or if you want to buy the book, yes, by all means, yes, just order from the Fox Tribe or Mystic Angels. So it's really a game changer, and because for me, awareness is in everything, in all aspects of our lives, not just relationships and all. So when we are grounded, we know, or we know ourselves better. There's awareness, there's consciousness. We cannot, not really we cannot, but we are not easily swayed by hypes, lalo na sa investment part, right? Because we are already empowered, that we know, oh, that's bullshit. Okay, see, seryoso ka pa, you give me like 1,000% after 1 year. Seryoso, okay? So, ako, I can say that's bullshit because I work in a financial institution na before, right? So I know that if there's something like that na anong malus, really it's a scam. So I have already have that hunch. But for some people, maybe they don't have that yet. Yeah, they don't have that awareness yet. So this book really help all of us at least. And part of self-awareness is looking into your risk appetite, your knowledge, and then how much am I willing to play, at least na parang i-manage mo ang expectation that, okay, I may gain or I may lose this much, right? So if you're a risk lover and you want unlimited earning potential, I think equity or stocks are right for you. You can, if you're aggressive, mostly younger peoples are into, are risk lovers. Matanda na kasi ako, so I am not into, I'm not into risky investments, for that. So I want to have calculated risk. I'm willing, but not as much. And then if you are a risk averse person, takot kang to lose that much, calculated lang. May fixed income, just like bonds, are good for you. Say it will promise you 10% lang, but at least better than the 1% na matulog lang siya sa bank, right? So that's as much. So you buy bonds, or buy bonds so that you can support the government projects, kasi maraming bonds right now in the market, government bonds or treasury bonds, as we call it, so that the government can finance vaccination program and the rest of the projects, right? And then I think before investing as well, lalo na kung risk lover ka or you're into stocks, is that you set a ceiling and then a floor or a limit to how much are you willing to gain and how much are we going to lose. Kasi if you aren't, so then greed comes in. Just like recall the chart of GameStop kanina, from $3 to 120. When is the right time to sell it off, right? So they wait for the moment na hala daghan na kay nag-sell kay nag-hype na. At least I earn perhaps maybe at least 200% lang. I don't need to wait for 300, and then di ko alam ang timing ng market and the rest of the investors. Mag-start na siya baba and then ang regulators mag-stop. Because who can predict that, right? Not unless if you have insider info from SEC or so. So Para calculated siya and hindi ka magsisi in the long run, it's good to really set a ceiling and a floor or a limit to how much am I willing at least to expose my gains or losses that I'm willing to take for this investment. Okay? Now, how to aid that self-awareness as well is your purpose and your targets. So do you want to grow money for? Is it for yourself or your 10%? Your payment for yourself so that kasi stocks can be a source of passive income, right? So I can just wait till I'm being paid by the corporation of of which the stock I bought with, and then I receive money. Before, in the long run, ang PLDT, their method is if you own like yung old school na unit ng telephone, yung dial stuff, and then the pindot one, you are considered, if you own one unit, so one share stockholder ka na, or one shareholder ka na, or you have one share of PLDT already. I recall, ang tanda ko na talaga. So that means, since my one share ka, you can claim, oh, I own PLDT. Just don't ask me by how many, how many shares. One share. But it's legit. You can say that, yes, I own PLDT because I have one share. And I really remember at the end of the year, we receive a check talaga in the mail, and that's our share of the net income of the PLDT before. So that's the dividend that they pay. So your share of the net income. So after, like, say, nag-earn siyang 1 million in the year, i-divide niya sa number of shareholders or stocks outstanding. So that's your share. Ganon. So are you going that for yourself? Second is for your company. For instance, if your company is like into food business, for example, like say, San Miguel bought a few shares of, if you remember before, yung mga chocolates ng Nestle, there are products or businesses that they bought in or acquired. Kasi like the chocolate, they can use it in their ice cream line or so. So pwedeng ganon ang purpose mo. So I buy shares of stock of other companies na pwede kong i-incorporate sa aking existing business. So kung may milk company, I can buy that so that I can create more ice cream or so, or whatever products that will complement my existing. Kung kape, maybe bibili rin ako ng Panadero stock para ito na or something. Or siguro si Dr. Lim, kung ang kape like and Ganoderma or more, like say, and pineapple, maybe he can buy shares of Dole so that if he has like a factory na in the Philippines for the pineapple tarts or cakes that is only available in Malaysia, diba? So complementary na siya. So it will not stop or technically close down Dole, but it's still existing. The employees are still there, but parang i-combine ko siya. I still own it because I need it for my pineapple tarts na product, something like that. So pwede rin ganon. Or in the long run, like me, solar companies, if there are solar companies soon na maging listed sa stock market, I would buy that because that will contribute more to the environment or less emissions or so. Third, social enterprise. Just like I said, yeah, yung social enterprise contribution to the environment, because that's my advocacy, one of my advocacies. So, pwede rin ganun. So, you look at your choices, if it's alignment with your mission, or what can expand, or how can it co-create with your mission as well. So what will it create 5, 10, 20 years from now? So just like San Miguel Corporation, I like it that they are moving towards like really partnering with local farmers, of course, so that kasi ang farming natin is very outdated. Farming practices natin is very outdated. At least there's a corporation who have access to funds which can provide technology for our farmers as well. Ayan. And then knowledge, the key really is knowledge in terms of making sound investment decisions. So knowledge about the financial markets, the products, and about the company. So what company am I going to choose? Like me personally, I'm going to invest in San Miguel when the time is right. And then do they contribute to the environment? Because that's one of the values that I really look for. The companies as well. Do they give back to the environment or the society? Ganyan. Or even help the government, right? In terms of infrastructure. And then fundamental analysis, or we can't help it, but we really have to use, for some people who are afraid of numbers, we really need numbers here as well because we are growing our money. So we can at least say join calls or trainings like this that will empower or educate us about how to look into the numbers at least. Okay, so how do I apply conscious investing in the shares of stocks? But first, ask the question, why do I have to invest in stocks? Number one, ownership. Like yung example ko nga kanina sa PLDT, para rampan ako sa party and I can claim, charot, that I own PLDT. I can buy you, charot. Yung mga ganyan. So, there's ownership. So, instead of me investing a lot of millions to create my own business, for example, and then and hire people, but if yung interest ko naman is like the same as San Miguel, I'd rather buy San Miguel stocks na lang, right? So instead of me waiting, imagine how long it started, San Miguel started, right? So I will just support if I see that in its performance that um, it has products that will contribute more, or is sellable, or it's gaining profit. So I'd rather buy na lang shares of stock, so I can still own them. Number two is voting rights. So this means you can also decide who will be the leader or the CEO or the president of the company. Because along with the shares of stocks, of course, annually, actually, kung CEO, usually that would, depending on the company, 5-10 years, they decide that. So that you can vote whether it's still Ramon Ang, if you don't like Ramon Ang, the Coangcos or so. Baka gusto mo si ano na lang, si Chris Aquino na ang maging president. So you can do that. Should Chris Aquino be viewed as a very credible, of course, leader for San Miguel Corporation, for instance. And then number three, if there are major business decisions, for example, where should we go right now? Where should we invest? For example, my net income this year, actually the company can decide through our resolution, board resolution, and votation as well. What should we do with the net income? Should we distribute it with the shareholders in terms of dividends? So my actual cash ang shareholders natin. Of course, kung may actual cash kasi, that will encourage the investors to buy more stocks and put more money in your company. Or should we invest it, say, in solar na lang or other projects? So those are business decisions that likewise you can participate in if you own a share of stocks, say, of San Miguel Corporation. And then lastly, I think but not the least, but there are a lot of advantages pa, is a limited earnings potential, because just like what you've seen kanina sa GameStop, it can grow as much as 300%, 500%. Or so. But of course, with the knowledge as well, that can also go as low as that 300. So kung calculated risk lang, you can make greater or bigger earnings by buying stocks, right? And how do I earn? One, buy and hold. Kung conservative ka or risk averse ka. So what do we say by buy and hold? There's long-term horizon. You're just waiting for dividends. And of course, I want to own the company, right? So I want to ramp up and say, I am the owner of SMC. Something. Joke lang yan ha, pero conscious investing nga eh. So I mean, like, I own the company that supports the environment and the government, something that can be proud of, right? That contributes more to my mission, for example. So I buy it and I hold it in the long run, so my forever. So I'll just wait for the dividends and if I look for I can sell a little or a portion of my shares or so kasi sometimes other than cash dividend instead the company para save ang cash and put it into other projects, for example, what other companies or corporations do is that stock dividends naman. So madadagdagan ang shares mo instead of giving you cash. So more shares of stocks, that means more, of course, advantages of why you invest in stocks. And then the second one is buy and sell. So if you are aggressive, if you're risk lover, so short-term horizon siya. So you play with kung you're the type of person na gusto mo exciting ang buhay. So you play with the market information. So when's the right time to buy and sell? And then talagang ang perfect example niyan is si Elon Musk because he's really playing in the market right now given his earnings and lalo na sa cryptocurrency. So he's playing on ganyan. So para bang he's encouraging people, hey, I'm buying this, you buy it too. And then while he's earning para mag-jump off and then he will be, once it's of course slowing down na naman, of course, he will eventually sell it to protect as well his exposure to losses, right? So that's how he can gain from it as well. So you can learn from Elon Musk. So cycles, there are stocks kasi na cyclical, ngayon in demand, later on hindi, or there are trends, sometimes seasonal trends, depending on also environment. Or so dati, if you recall the Y2K bug, malakas ang mga dot-com or dot-com companies, the Yahoo, etc. because before they promised that it's the future, right? It's new technology or so. So dapat kaya ang taas ng prices nila. And then right now it's more about depende kung anong i-offer ng mga websites or technology stocks. So depends on that. And then market sentiment or price movements. Notice nung pandemic, of course, yung mga pharmaceutical companies nag-increase because people wanted, initially they wanted to put their money there para mag-research na sila and then they create the vaccine already. And now it's starting nung news na maraming mali or maraming namatay or so, it affected. So you can play around those news. The stock market is a very good example of manipulation, actually, of information. Because, I mean, I've been there and I've handled accounts as well na, sorry, I will be cursing. Like, the traders are just they're just chatting and then they're all lasing. At the end of the trading day kasi, in the Philippines, trading ends at 3. I think generally all across the globe, it ends at 3. And then what happens at 3, actually, after they do, of course, kami yung mga back offices. So kami yung mag-create ng report for them. What they do is they go out and drink a lot, actually. And then hambog, oh, I earned this much today, blah, 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 blah. I grew my accounts like this. I'm gonna buy a new Ferrari. And really, it's like us seeing 5 red Ferraris of this stock trader. And then here we are on month end, mag-overtime ta kay mag-create ta sa ilang report and daghan kay anomalya, something like that. So, I have witnessed that. That's why as a humanoid, there's like heaviness talaga, and I'm not really proud because I have witnessed all these things that even the big players just manipulate and really affected the decline in the economy even. So that's it. So that's why I'm promoting now conscious investing and empowering people to know and share knowledge and information so that we can put it into good use, actually. Yung GameStop and Robinhood, they really have a good mission. They want to democratize. People can invest and grow their money, just like the big players, the investment banks, the hedge funds. Kasi sila lang ang yumayaman, right? It's good. That's a good. It's the good start. However, they didn't incorporate into that the regulations and all, the risk as well, and not much information were rather efforts were put into information and education of investors. Kasi even after nung nangyari sa fiasco ng GameStop, right? And what are the, after that happens, if I click sell, anong mangyayari? Mabibigay ba agad sa akin ang cash? They didn't know that you have to pay commission, actual commission or so. They have to pay documentary stamp tax para maano sa'yo, and then all the back office stuff. So they're just there for, they just know the hype, looking at if it's the price is high or low, not much. Okay, so this, for example, me, how do I go about applying the elements of cautious investing? So I know already that I'm risk averse, and I prefer companies that contribute more to the country, to their employees, to the environment. And so my pick would be San Miguel Corporation, right? So just if you look into it, last traded price, yan yung, of course, yesterday's price. Okay, the open price is yung before magbegin ang market at 9 o'clock. So that's the opening. So previous close is 127.90. So if you notice, technically kung ang nag-close siya 127, dapat ang opening mo rin dapat 127, right? Now the 0.90 difference there is sometimes before the market starts, kasi they just some traders ensure that the system is working or so. So they have parang dummy trades that they do to ensure that, or to check that it's correct. But technically, your previous close yesterday should be your opening price on for the day. The high is the highest price during the day, and low is the lowest. So, and then I think you know already average price. Now, SMC kasi sa blue chip stock, so it's really stable. It's been here for a long time already. So there's not much movement, not unless may dramatic event na mangyayari sa San Miguel. Say, like the president died, whatever. Yung mga drama sa Korean novela, ang daming ganyan sa Korean novelas actually. So, and yung mga mag-a-assume na who's the next president of the corporation, because that will set the tone of leadership and the focus kasi of the investments of the company. So, yun. So, very, notice mo, blue chip stocks are boring. So, if you are risk averse, you buy blue chip stocks, maghintay ka na lang ng payment ng dividend at the end of the year. Or so. Or if you have more and parang you just play more information about it, then you can do so. Okay, so this information I got from the PSE website. Later on, I'll share links that you can use. And one important good thing to note as well is board lot. Ito yung minimum number of stocks na bilhin mo in one transaction, by the way. Not necessarily one share, yun na, but usually meron silang odd lots. Yung minimum mo is in tens, in hundreds, or thousands. So depende yan sa nature ng stock as well. Okay, so likewise, really I encourage people to look at the financial statements. The balance sheet which will tell you of the balance, charot. Looking at the status of the company, because how many assets do they own? And then ano yung liabilities nila? Of course, we don't want to invest in a company that's highly leveraged or ang daming utang. Diba? So at least we should be aware of ano yung financial status ng company. So kasi remember that the assets, kung mag-close down ang companies, malugi man siya or so, these assets like the factories, the buildings, whatever, this can be used to pay us out as stockholders. So it's good to look into these numbers as well. Okay, and of course the income, because it will give you an idea. Okay, so ito income before tax. So if hindi pa tayo magbabayad ng tax, so how much pala ang na-earn natin or so. And then how much ang tax na binayad natin na mag-contribute sa company. And then itong net income after tax, ito na yung whether it could be divided among existing stockholders as dividends, or this is the amount na basis niya to say retain earnings, part like 50% i-retain natin ang income as cash so that we can invest in research, just like what Dr. Lim is doing, or 50% we give out cash kasi to our investors so that it will encourage them to put more funds sa San Miguel because the pandemic is expected now to end until 2023 or last until 2023 or something like that. So net income attributable to parent equity holder, because remember that San Miguel also has subsidiaries. They have bought some um, some businesses of other companies like mineral water or so, yung mga chocolate line ng Nestle, something like that. So it's the parent company. San Miguel in this case is the parent company. The rest are subsidiaries. And then if we compare it, kung gusto mong ipakita, not the actual dividend, but you compare it with the stock price, so earnings lost per share, for example. So that's your basically net income and the number of shares outstanding in the stock market. So theoretically, ang earnings ng San Miguel by 2019 is 5.93 shares. Compare that with 2018 na 6.61. So technically nagbaba siya, but I think that's because of the investments or so. Right. And then the ratios will give you a basic idea of how many times the cash, like this current ratio, current assets can cover for liabilities. Kasi nga yung mga buildings or yung other assets can be used to pay off liabilities once ma-liquidate ang company or magsara ang company. So covered naman siya 1.46 times. So it's nothing to worry about. You should be worried if it's less than 1 because basically, of course, you would expect payments from the assets once it's liquidated or so. And how liquid quick ratio is the company, how much, if it needs to bring out cash as of the moment, so that's 0.96. So fair enough, close to 1, yung mga ganyan. And then debt ratio, so is it greater than equity or maraming utang? So roundabout 50-50 siya. Actually, kasi ang companies, there's an advantage pag mag-utang ka rin because it will reduce your taxes. So I think that's number one benefit why corporations decide to also put leverage or debt into their finances as well, but not as much. Whereas kung equity kasi, too much debt, diba? Of course, we all know higher exposure to debt, mas risky siya. Kasi there are uncontrollable factors like the pandemic that might affect our earnings. We never know, right? So ratios can also give you an idea of the financial standing of this company. Right? And then if any of you are interested to do online trading, so I've summarized online brokers, and then what's the minimum investment that you can play. But actually, most of this meron silang free, what do you call that? Free trial or yung hindi actual investment, parang stock market game lang siya na you can just theoretically just play around the 5,000 peso na minimum investment or so. And this is the website. And if they have app or not. So BDO Nomura has, First Metro is Metro Bank na stockbroker firm, and then PhilStocks has. And the trading app na private is, I think you've heard about Instagrams. Instagrams also has a free what do you call this feature wherein you can make use of the stocks or the charts or the information of stocks there, and then you can also play. So it's private. So minimal lang ang commission fee niya, unlike itong mga bangko, of course, medyo malaki ito. So these are the list. And then the other links here is where you can get information about the company profile, financial statements, and then charts as well, so that you would know what company will contribute more to growing my investments. something like that. Okay, so I think that's the last one. So sorry, I cannot view any questions or chats. And I'll just show you PSE website. So here you can go to market activity, and then this is composite sector and indices. So it's divided kasi para ay not really divided. It's grouped according to industry kasi. So as you can see, the index, which is a group of 30 blue chip companies or yung mga stable companies, and then all shares, and then financials, industrial holding firm services, yan, existing. And then if you want to know more which one is part ng mga blue chip stocks, if you're a risk averse person, and then gusto lang mag-intay ng ng dividend. And of course, these are the mga famous corporations like Ayala, Aboitiz, San Miguel, Jollibee, stuff like that. And then Globe, if you want to buy Globe, if you're happy with the if you're happy with the services, ganyan, so that you can just ramp at the end of the year and stockholders meeting ano lang nangyari sa mga investments or parang mga projects natin dyan. So if you want to buy Globe and make changes there and buy a lot of shares sa Globe, pwede rin. So yan. And then the banking industry as well. So most banks are there. So you would just see, and then if you click on the symbol, it will lead you to the market profile already or the company profile already. But for the financial statements, it's edge.pse.com. So you can just in the link that I gave you can just search the company, and then it will give you information like this. Depende sa period na available. Like that. And then sa Investagrams, it looks like this. So para hindi kayo ma-overwhelm, what you call this chart is a candlestick chart. This is a Chinese method actually of So unlike yung kanina nakita nyo na sa GameStop na this one, very plain lang siya, right? You will just see yung up, yung pinaka lowest, how it started at the beginning of the year, something like that. Here in Investagrams, or rather using a candlestick kasi, you would know if it's green, of course it's up. Red, that means that it's nagbaba compared to the period. And then yung tail niya sa baba, that's the lowest. And then ang taas na hindi na siya tail, of course, kasi nasa taas na siya. So yung line sa taas, that means that yan yung highest niyang traded price for the day actually. So the candlestick is easier to see if nag-up down kasi sa color, and then if it's red or down. So this is the performance of the Philippine Stock Exchange. So charts are important lalo na sa mga short selling people or short traders kasi if you want to see trends, you can just automatically go and check the charts as well. So that's technical analysis, as they call it, other than fundamental, wherein you really look at the foundation of the company, its financial statements and all. So, but if you're into short selling and you're aggressive, there are a lot of strategies that you can use using technical analysis or charts or calculations. But you can explore this. I suggest Investagrams kasi free yung mga charts na i-explore nyo. And then if you have questions, you can just drop on or you can just discuss it if there are things or items that you want clarity or so. Ayan. So I will just send you a link of this sites wherein you can get information and you can play around tools as well. Okay, lang po. Nag-extend ako ng 30 minutes. Sorry. Ayan. So, depending on what your next steps are, pwedeng we can discuss if you're really into stock market fundamental analysis, what the stock market is, or technical analysis if you're like really you want to dig deep into that. And then, share tools, simple tools. Again, I'm an MS Excel person. So, kasi instead of like buying this or spending, kumbaga, we can make use of free and available data and then just analyze that, copy paste that, and then in Excel, and we can do our own analysis actually. So, para empowered ka to know, all of us are empowered to know, kumbaga, oh, how do I do this? I know very well. And then when you go out on a date, charot, or the stockholders meeting, you know what's happening and you have information to share as well. Yun lang po. Yan. And explore, you can download the apps and explore, lalo na sa online traders. Or I think Instagrams, most people use this for like, and play around this. So if you're willing to play 5,000 pesos to know more, kasi lahi lang man yun talaga yung first hand na experience mo na like that, and applying the concepts, conscious investing concepts that we have here. So you can do so as well. So what I can suggest for home play is that given these links and giving your personal preferences or emission, you can look into the stocks in the Philippine Stock Exchange and see what you think will contribute more to your purpose or your mission in life, or contribute more to your existing business. If DXN is listed in the stock market, of course, I will buy DXN because I know the products are high quality and it contributed to a lot of my growth. And I would support, because given I have personal experience of the efficiency and effectivity of the products, and of course, I would support any research for more exciting products. So yun lang po. Thank you for spending more time. 333 ay 433 na pala.
Wow.
Ayan. Tokyo time pala tong aking, I know, not Tokyo time, 1 hour delayed pala.
1 hour
aking laptop.
So thank you so much, Ate Jenny. I learned so much. Yeah, what else is possible? I think it's quite fitting because there are chismes that the XN might open its shares or might open to the public. So chismis lang, but I'm not sure. So
Yes.
chika lang yon. But at least we are aware of, yeah, what else can we do with our money if we already have it? Like, diba, if you're growing already, and then yeah, what else can we create, or how can, and I know there's so much parang information like in your feeds and all of that. All of you here who are watching also, I mean, we see a lot of trainings, and yeah, this is very helpful. Thank you so much, Ate Jenny. And kanina my question si Fanny about whether GameStop is may similar ba na platform here in the Philippines.
GameStop is the stock. So it's listed in New York Stock Exchange. Now, Robinhood, I think she's referring to Robinhood, which is the app. Yeah. In the Philippines, Investagrams is actually existing din siya sa, there's no Philippine app except of course with this online broker na app. But there's, for me, na local app talaga na existing, just like Robinhood, na they want to democratize and they don't charge commission. I haven't heard any of that because Investagrams, I think this also exists in Australia and the US actually. And then eToro, you can also use that if you want to trade US stocks and Australian stocks, something like that. So, but I do think there are people planning, I think so, to replicate that because Filipinos are very ingenious.
So I know Filipinos are very good at copying too.
Yes, and they follow. A lot of people are already investing in US stocks right now, using eToro or these free apps. Hindi lang nila magawa to do that in the Philippine market right now because it's highly regulated, which is one good thing and what's right about the very conservative approach in the Philippines as well, because madali tayong affected sa what's happening globally because remember those blue chip stocks, some of them are also investing in the US market as well, and then they hire professionals as well and buy financial products globally to grow it more, of course, from there. So um, at least really I can't emphasize enough na knowledge is power. Charles Ernie Baron pala yun.
Yeah,
Na just
knowing is
really, yeah, knowing, educating it, and then really for me kasi I worked as a financial controller before. Other than the theoretical knowledge and then the strategy and then the actual experience na of how our traders operate, system knowledge is really important as well. So how does our booking system work? Like in this case, how do apps work? When I click the button, what happens? Or like how does it contribute? And or how does that equate? Kung i-click ko ito, what will happen? Like
mm,
imagination mo lang or at least a basic understanding of what happens pag ganito ang nag-trade. And then, ano yung charges, the model itself. Siguro kasi I've experienced that as a project manager of mitigating the risk as well for some Swiss banks as well or assessing the risk. So, pag sa projects kasi you see that the system, you have to understand the system. Ano yung mga datang pumapasok, ano yung how it functions, functionality niyan. So, other than theory, it's also understanding the system, how it works. And also regulation. It's really important as well, yung mga rules of the game. Because quoting Char, my loves, charot si David Kubes, right?
yeah,
Um, how can I use these rules to my advantage,
true.
right? So knowing the rules of the game so that I can break it and make it to put it to good use and use it to my advantage.
Yeah,
Yung ganyan. So rules of the game and theoretical knowledge and system knowledge as well, other than the fundamentals, of course.
yeah. In order for you to manipulate, you have to know what's going on
Yes,
and how can you
exactly.
use it to your advantage. And here's another question, Ate Jenny. How about this
Mhm.
popular scalping trading? Is it safe?
Um, I think dapat you think go back to the fundamentals
Mhm.
again if the company is worth it, right? The the growth is stable ba or so, and then the information that you're seeing in the market as well, is it valid? Who says so?
Mhm.
Who creates rather who publishes the information or so. Ayan. Um, ay scalping okay lang yan sa mga experience na traders kasi or so. And if you want to really experience it and just play around the free apps or spend siguro 1,000 to play around and see what happens so that you have your own experience how it works or so. And then experience it yourself kasi iba ang experience as a teacher kumbaga. But I don't recommend this advanced strategy or medium strategy for first time investors. So really just basic um, blue chip stocks, stable although it's boring, or you can choose an industry that's so dynamic right now, pharmaceuticals. So because really any information, it will really just affect the stock, right? So when they created that, nung final na daw, nag-test sila and everything, and then the effects of that. So you can see any information happening, it will affect the stocks. So if you just want some exciting or experience the excitement investing in the stock market right now. So choose an industry na sa very sensitive to information as of the moment. Trend right now. So pharmaceuticals for 1 year.
Wow. Wow, thank you, Ate Jenny. We really have beautiful information today. Like for me personally, I received so much. Like before, I've attended a lot of workshops like mga call financing and all of that, and I also have an account manager na wala na ko siya ginatagad. So now I'm more like, oh yeah, that account manager. I'm going back to her. It's like you know, yeah, I've been a pasaway kanang, di ba? Alam mo yun kanang because I wasn't willing to look at it. And now I see the benefit of what you just said about money isn't the problem, you are. Once we really are ready to receive money, then we see everything, and rather than parang being blocked by it. So thank you. This is wonderful information. We would like to honor and acknowledge everybody, and of course, Ate Jenny for giving us her her wisdom when it comes to conscious investing. This is really beautiful information. Yes, Ate Jeanette, I'm giving you the so we have a lot of our financial advisors here. Also, I'm very happy with everybody here. Sila Hannah and Fanny of Pru Life, Ate Jeanette of Sun Life, and Ate Riza of Philam Life. Ayan. So we are joined by also awesome people who are into investments and into finances. And also we have Kenneth Palabrica, who is also new. Hello. And our Fox Tribe peeps and Funfield Freedom peeps. Zai, sino ba? Jabez, Don, Ate Regina, Kuya Nino, and yeah. And Darlene was here earlier, but she left. So, yeah, thank you so much, Ate Jenny. And if you have further questions and you would like to reach Ate Jenny, she can be seen sa Glow Up by Jen Fury. You can reach her or add her if she likes to. And if you want to work closely with her, and yeah, maybe I think are you also opening an account or like being an account manager, or are you an account manager, diba? You are,
No,
right?
that was before.
Ah,
But
okay.
now
And sige. So what else
I'm
can we
exploring more.
Wow, I love that. I love that. So, yeah, what else can we, ano, maybe soon Ate Jenny might open up a class, like something like in-depth if you really want to learn more. And this is a beautiful thing that parang meron tayong beginners or intro class for your upcoming, your detailed ones. So, yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And this will be, the recording will be available in YouTube soon. And yeah, what else is possible? So thank you, everyone. We honor and acknowledge you. And Tita Regina, hello. Happy birthday
Happy
also. Yay, happy
birthday!
birthday. Thank you, Tita Regina. Awesome to see you here. Ate
Thank you.
Oliver, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.